Welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV, the only place to be on match day. And yes, I did skip the timer by a minute because it was doing my head in, and that is how I'm rolling tonight. I'm joined by a wonderful panel for this wonderful game tonight. We've got Jimbo, my better half. We've got Lord Dermatron over there, and we've got Britain's best young content creator, Harry Scarf, in the house as well. Jimbo, first of all, how you doing?
Well, I think all the spotlight should be on the fucking champion. Champion.
Oh, thank you.
Jim, I've got to ask you first. I'm going to go to Harry last for a reason. Are you well?
Yeah, I'm excellent. Thank you. Ready to kick some PSG arse tonight?
Good. That's what we like to hear. Dermatron, how you doing?
Well, I've never been called a lord before, but I will take it. Yeah, look, I'm frustrated. I'm angry. Come on, Spurs, give me something to hang my hat on tonight. Let's go out there and kick some French ass.
Yes,
even the Irish don't like French, so you're not the only one.
Please let us do that. And then, like I said, we have got Britain's best young content creator, Mr. Harry Scarf, who won the award for just that. Was it last week? Is it a week already?
Yeah, nearly.
Harry, congratulations and thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you so much for having me. Honestly, a real pleasure. Didn't expect to win the award. So many fantastic people there, of course. Well, I originally thought a nationally recognised award, but apparently it's Britain. So just a real pleasure to be Britain's best young content creator, because there's so many great young creators as well at the future of content creation. A privilege to meet loads of them, and for people as well, like not just young people, but to give people an idea of like how big the event is. The likes of Mark Goldbridge was there, Cal the Dragon, we're talking people like that, representatives from Sky, BBC, The Athletic, and beyond. So honestly, that was incredible. Didn't expect it, and Leeds and Ellen Road in particular, the Leeds United Stadium, will always hold a place in my heart for winning that trophy. So yeah, we go again. Honestly, fantastic. So thank you to everyone, because a lot of people on the channel as well that have come on, have voted for me, nominated me, and supported my content. So thank you so much, and great to always be talking to you and talking about Tottenham, because let's get a result tonight, because you aren't expected to do so. So fingers crossed we do.
Yeah, Harry, I've got to be honest, when I was watching the live stream of it, I screamed and Jim went, "What's happened?" I went, "Harry's won." He went, "Harry who?" And I was like, "Harry Scarf's won." So yes, I'm absolutely delighted for you, Harry, and well deserved. But yes, everybody's sending their congratulations in. But tonight we are back in the Champions League tonight, and I suppose the question on everybody's lips is, will Tottenham actually turn up tonight after what was a very dismal performance against that lot up the road the other day? Jimbo, obviously we hosted, or PSG hosted us back in August for the Super Cup. Van der Ven and Romero both scoring, and us looking like we were going to win it before they scored 2 late goals in the last 10 minutes and then won 4-3 on penalties. Are you feeling any sort of confidence tonight? Obviously, the fan base in a bit of turmoil at the minute.
We had a bad game. We had a bad day at the office against Arsenal. Let's move on from that. We got beat by the better team on the day. So we move on. It does happen in football. It's not the first time I've seen us get beat by Arsenal, and it won't be the last. And look, it was only a few years ago we could never get a win against Man United, and I think they've only beat us once since 2022 or something. So things have turned around for us. We're at the beginning of a new project with a new manager. He's still got a lot of work to do with the players. He knows that, and he's got a lot of work to do with himself on finding his best team. I was listening to someone on the Irish Hotspur just a minute ago. I can't remember who said it, but one of them said we need to start. I think it was Sean. We need to start getting a more of a settled team, instead of swapping around so much. And I agree with that 100%. So, but look, we had a bad day at the office. Tonight's a different night. That's the good thing about football. I've told you this for years, Kate. Right, 1 week you can be down in football, and the next week you can be on a mountain. You know, and that's what football does to you.
Yeah. Dermot, obviously, after Ange Postecoglou, the legend that won us the Europa League, but we were all sort of calling out for more of a pragmatic manager, and we seem to have gone to a little bit of the extreme at the minute, where we're playing very pragmatic football and not creating any chances. Do you think Frank's got it in his locker to open up a little bit and be a bit braver so that we might actually get some goals?
I get where Jim's coming from. Look, what got me more about Sunday was no shots until 55 minutes and the players not turning up. That peeved me off. And I do get Jim is right. We've all seen us lose against Arsenal more than we'd like to remember. We've seen us lose against Chelsea all the time. But the thing that's got me with Thomas Frank is I don't think even he knows how to get out of this mess. I think even he's scratching his head because I think he's going one way. I think some of the players are going with him, but some of the other players are going against him. You look, there is a bit of disharmony within the squad, within the group. Are players getting a little bit fed up with his tactics? Are some of the players getting a bit fed up with the way he's doing it? I think, look, we've got to go for it tonight. Play with a 6 at play, just play Palhinha as a 6, put Sarr as an 8, put Xavi as a 10, go with Odegaard and Kudus and Kolo up front. And I think you've got to go with it. I think we've been too defensive, and that's what's been frustrating for me. Look, I want him to prove me wrong. I want him to prove me wrong. If he proves me wrong, I will hold my hands up and say I was wrong. And I'm big enough and ugly enough to do that. But I'm just frustrated. I'm frustrated with what we're watching. This is not Tottenham Hotspur. What's our identity? We don't know what our identity is. Even under Ange, look, I supported Ange near enough to the bitter end. And because it was sort of the way that we should play, but if you had a defence sorted and the attacking, then I think a lot of fans would have said, okay, I know where we're going with this. We don't see where we're going with this. And that's the frustrating part. Thomas Frank is a good manager. He can get it right, but it's down also to the owners to back him with the players he wants. And it's also down to him to get it right in the training field. He's used to managing one game a week, playing on the Saturday and having the full 5 or 6 days training and then playing the game at the weekend. He's not used to playing 2 games a week. I hope he's learning by these mistakes, because I think after this one, we get a bit of a break before January in the Champions League. So hopefully he will learn his lessons and maybe he might do things differently when it returns.
Yeah.
But do you not, can I just say, ask Dermot, do you not think that maybe that he's playing a bit more defensive because he's got no confidence in his forward line?
Probably, Jim, you're right. I would agree on that. But we're not a defensive side. You, me, are long enough in the tooth to know we're not that sort of team. And we're playing this counter-attacking football, which is alien to us. We played it under Conte. Fans didn't like it. We all want Poch ball. That's what we want. At the end of the day, we want what we had under Poch. And we're never going to get that unless Poch comes back. But I don't want Poch to come back because I don't want him to damage his legacy that he has at the club. And I think that would be a backward step, bringing Pochettino back.
It's not a great legacy because he never won anything, did he? It was all
the thing is as well, with Poch, he had a very, very good team, very strong in every single position, and we don't have that. I mean, Harry, obviously, like I said at the beginning, there's a lot of turmoil amongst the fans. There's already calls for Ange out. How are you feeling? Obviously, none of us wanted us to see us lose against Arsenal, but it was the manner of the defeat. It was appalling.
It was. It's just the fact that I think to go there and shut up shop and ultimately, let's be honest with you, try and play for a 0-0 draw or a best 1-1 is okay. I think all of us probably would have taken a draw at the Emirates. We would have, of course, wanted more, but realistically, we know where we're at the moment in terms of difference in trajectory of Arsenal. But it's the point that we've just relied on, a moment of literal individual brilliance a set piece or a mistake from Arsenal. That was the only route Tottenham were going to score. And I'd argue we got a bit of both. Raya's come off his line. And do you know why he come off his line? Because he's bored. He had absolutely nothing to do. This is only how the goal happens. Seriously, it's funny, but
he was watching
that's
you,
how the goal
Harry.
happens.
That's what he was watching you on his iPad. That's what he was doing.
Probably. Well, that is boring in itself, so I wouldn't blame him. But he's come out his line, and I'll be honest. But Richarlison, I think.
Oh, we've lost your sound again, Harry.
Can you hear me now?
That's it. Yeah.
But realistically, if Richarlison had that chance again, I'm sorry to say, I don't think he scores it. So it's great that he has, but I don't think he scores that again. No other player will, to be fair. So yeah, it was a really what I call spineless performance from Tottenham, and there was no plan. And it's just interesting to hear the way that Frank speaks. It's almost like he didn't want his team to set up like that, but he's not saying it clearly. So it's really strange. But one thing I will quickly push back on, if you don't mind, Kate, is that there's this thing put back by Spurs fans that Frank isn't a big game manager. At Brentford, I know it's completely different, but he was the big game manager. Brentford fans would back their side a lot more to go and beat Liverpool, to go and beat Chelsea in particular as well, by the way. If these big teams, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, with 3, United 2, 4 teams that Brentford used to beat a lot. Unfortunately, even Tottenham at times they would, especially if they were at home. They would beat the big 6 teams. Their record under Frank was really, really good. So I won't buy this narrative that he isn't up to scratch for the big games, but the job is big. I don't know if he's ready for the step up. I think both, all of you so far put it across really well. I'm concerned with the way he's saying some things. I'm concerned, like he says the other day, so many games would be average, that kind of thing. I think it needs to be a mentality shift from Brentford to Tottenham. But I think he's got it. He's a really good tactician. So I won't buy that he's a bad tactician. He's not up for these big games. He got it wrong. Also, this is a reminder to look at the players. They're not awful. Not one of these that goes, we have shocking players. But the reality is, the owners, and all of a sudden, I know the same owners, new look board. It's this big mouth that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I'd say stop talking, be quiet, and get on with a bit of action, because you can't be saying we're going to win the Premier League and Champions League, going to do that, if we're not going to back it up. It's time we back a manager at Tottenham. I don't know whether Frank is right, but I think for now, back him, have a really good January window. We need to go bigger, bolder, and quicker, and we just need to do a lot more to support him and the team, because the reality is, Arsenal are up here, we're there, such a big gap, and it's not going to change.
Yeah, look, I tend to agree. I think, when Poch came in, he'd only managed at Southampton, and everyone was like, this job could be too big for him. And he didn't start off that great. I don't see the value in just recklessly sacking Thomas Frank at this moment in time. Before, we all moan that Daniel Levy never invested. He's gone. I think we should just wait and see what the January transfer window brings. And it's no real shame to lose to Arsenal at home. At their place, is it? I mean, they're a very, very good team. Someone's just put the lineups out. It's not coming up on my screen. I keep refreshing. But
Kate, about getting rid of Frank, it's miles too early. Got to give him a bit of time. Let him settle in, and let's have a couple of windows with him and see how it goes. I mean, it's true. What are you going to do? You have to. If you lose a few games, right? Every time you get a new manager, what are you going to do? Just sack him. You've got to stick with one and try it out. He's only just got to the club, and look, let's be honest. He's not blessed with a great forward line, is he? He's not.
Definitely not.
No.
Do you guys think it's a lot to do with the frustration of Ange last season with all the defeats? Do you think it's all catching up on us, that what we went through last? It was put to me this way, that it all was what we went through last season. And look, no one more than me wants Frank to prove me wrong, but I just feel that he needs to get a grip quickly, because will the owners, if the Lewis family are getting triggered, or they're getting, getting a bit, will they give him, will they invest the money in him to build the squad? That's the question.
Yeah.
And mate, are they saying, well, you got to reach certain performances before we'll promise you we'll give you a certain amount of money in January to spend?
Well, we're only 3 points off the fourth.
Yeah, I know. It's a weird Premier League, isn't it, Jim? It's so tight. It really is.
Yeah.
The team is out, as you can see. We've got Big Vic in goal. Then we have got Porro, Romero, Van de Ven, and Spence, or Gray. We've got, I'm just going to read them down. It's easier. We've got Vicario, Richarlison, Gray, Bergval, Romero, Porro, Spence, Sarr, Bentancur, Van de Ven, and Kolo Muani. And then on the bench, we've got Kinski, Austin, Danso, Paulinia, Xavi, Udogie, Kudus, Odebert, Davis, Scarlett, Thompson, and Williams Barnett. Harry, I'm going to come to you first and say no Xavi, no Paulinho, no Udogie, no Kudus, no Odebert. What's your thoughts on that lineup? We've lost you again. He's got a dodgy wire, I think. It's all that celebrating. No. I'll tell you what, Jimbo, I'll come to you first.
Right.
And get your thoughts on it before while Harry sorts his mic out.
I'm not a manager of a football club, right? So it's, I mean, we just have to have faith in him that he knows what he's doing. You know, a very strange Kudus is not in there, but there must be a reason for it. He thinks this is the team to start with, so I'm behind him. You know, he knows the players. He watches them in training. He knows who's 100% fit and who's not. So, I mean, it's a strange that Kudus and Paulinho are not in there. But look, I'll back the manager. If he says that's the team to go out and do it, I'm with him.
I mean, Harry, I know you've got it sorted now. Well, I'm actually a little bit dumbstruck with that lineup. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, firstly, sorry. I hope I've sorted that okay. But yeah, I'm puzzled with the lineup. I would look at it and go, what are you doing? But at the same time, there is a valid argument for change and to go something different because this hasn't been good enough. You know, performances and results as of late. If you look at the form table, you know, it isn't good enough for Tottenham. The games are getting tougher. That's the thing. And, you know, I do worry. We find ourselves, I know it's really tight. So that's what's worth knowing. Like if we divert quickly to the Premier League, for example, find ourselves, I think, in ninth position. Within one game, we don't get a result against Fulham, don't get a result against Newcastle. We're 14th or 15th place like that. But also to flip the coin, we're in second place with a very good victory and 4 points from 2 games. So it really does flip, just to give people some context. We've got in ninth, you know, there's a little bit more to it than that. But in this lineup, I'm surprised. Great to see. Let's start with the positives. Gray and Bergvall start together. I think that's been called for a long time. Well, Gray, Bergvall and Sarr, I will say. I don't know what the formation will be. I think that's a good thing, though, because Frank is very hard to predict. And I think that surely, hopefully, makes it harder for the opposition and their opposition manager to predict. I don't think it's wise not playing Paulinho. I know he's got to rest at some point, Kate, but this is his bread and butter. It's his type of game. Look at against Arsenal. One time, literally, we pressed of any meaning and he won the ball back. He's a tough tackler. You need him in games like this. You know, I have no problem with him not playing against Fulham, against his older club. This is the game where he has to start. I mean, I don't know. I like Bentancur, but I don't know what, you know, if Bentancur knows some kind of secret about Frank because he seems to go with him a little bit more than he does Paulinho. I'm not going to throw around any mystery here, but Bentancur's not the same player he was when we signed him. This attacking, risk-taking midfielder. He's more safe because of Ange come in, changed his game, injuries changed his game, and he's unfortunately dramatically got worse. He's not performing for me to the standard that he would expect. He shouldn't be in the team tonight. I'm concerned, but positive still. Kylan wanted to start. There are positives in there, but it could have been a lot better. But I don't think we'll get a result based on this team.
No, I mean, I'm thinking he's going. I don't know this. I haven't had a chance to look, and they never tell me anyway. A possible 4-2-3-1 with Gray at the back, and then Bentancur. Bentancur. Paulinho's not playing, is he? So maybe Bentancur. No. I don't know. I mean, Dermot, what are you thinking? It's weird.
Well, I've just looked on the Champions League website, and it looks like he's gone 5 at the back, with Spence, Romero, Van de Ven, Gray, and Porro's a back 5. Porro, Bergvall, and Bentancur's a straight 3, and Kulu and Richarlison up front.
Wow.
I'm stumped by that. I am really stumped by that. Again, he's setting the team out not to lose. Look, I can understand it. It's away at PSG. I do get it, but I don't know. I think Paulinho, I would have been more comfortable Paulinho in that midfield, sitting in front of the back 5, have Sarr and Bentancur as probably 2 8s. I just no Xavi. No, I'm stumped. I understand why he's done it. I understand he probably wanted to make changes after Sunday and make a statement, but Kate and Jim and Harry, I'm stumped by that. This could turn out to be a really horrible night. I hope it doesn't. I hope we get a win. I really do, and I hope we get a result. But I hope he's got it right. I really do hope he's got it right.
I actually made some notes, Jimbo, and I put I just assumed Xavi would be starting this game, and I put, Xavi been criticised for not creating enough, but when you watch his games and his possession, there's literally no one that he can pass to, and that he's excellent at operating in tight space, but needs people to run to find his range of passes. If not, this is a failure of the system rather than a failure of the player. And then he's not even played Xavi, and I just think, I look at that again and I think, where's the creativity in that? I don't know where it is. I mean, Sar's got the legs. We all know Sar's got the legs. You've got Mawani up front. Richarlison. I mean, I don't know. Jim, can you see creativity there? I know you're saying have faith in the manager, and I've been 100% behind Frank, but I am absolutely baffled by this lineup.
Well, it looks like to me they're going to rely on crosses in the box and corners and free kicks. But look, he's picked this team for a reason, right? And it's I won't have it that he's a shit manager. I just won't have it. He's not a shit manager. He's a good manager, this guy. So he's got his reasons for this team. I'm just one of these people that I'd rather back him than slag him and say, well, I want him out of my club, because he's only just got here. Whoever wants him out of the club, it's their opinion. But for me, it's not. It's too early to say that.
But Jim, I mean, I get you. I'm with you. Look, I want Tottenham to do well all the time. We all do. We all want Frank to do well and prove some of us wrong and win us a trophy and be successful at our club. Of course we do. But line up tonight, I just don't get it. Kate's right. Where's the creative player in that midfield? Would you have started Xavi? Would you tonight?
I would have started Xavi, Kudos, and Paulinho for this game, because the reason being, right, I would have wanted to go out and win this game for the fans to lift them up after the Arsenal game, and to move on to the Fulham game with a good win against one of the best teams in the world. But look, I'm not the manager, am I? So it is a weird lineup, but I'm just going to have faith in him. I don't know.
Shems as well. I mean, we were saying on the last pump up that Odobert and Udogie together create width on that side, Harry. I'm not convinced where the width's coming from. I know this is a pump up show, but I am completely taken aback by this lineup. It's thrown me completely.
It has, but Jimbo makes a very important point, and people won't want to hear this, and I understand that, but Frank knows more than I do and knows more than anybody does. That's why he's Tottenham manager, and I get and totally share that just because he's done really well at Brentford, good record against top six clubs, doesn't mean he's going to be right for Tottenham. I back him nearly 100% and give him time. Absolutely, I'm convinced in that. Nothing will make you change your mind, at least for going into the new year. But I do understand fans' frustration. But I think you just got to back it and see where it goes. There's no doubt we need to improve. I mean, it feels very similar. Yes, it does to Nuno's start, where we start okay. We're right up there, and the tougher games come in and we lose them. I get that. I'm concerned when I hear Frank say that, what did he say, 30, 40 games are average. And this is concerning because that is the wrong type of mentality. And then he says, look, it's important to remember we finished 17th last season. Factually correct. We also won a European trophy last year. So that was a bit of deflection for me. It might show he cared, but for me, it's more deflection. So I am concerned with Frank. But I don't think jumping on that bandwagon is the right thing to do. I think what is the right thing to do is hold these owners to account, which have come out of nowhere and said all of a sudden, look, we strive for sporting success. Well, where have they been? They've been asleep in a coffin for the last 2.5 decades. Where has this come from? This is not a mystery. It's not a coincidence. It's a PR stunt. It's all words. It's not action. I like Vinay. I like the new look board, but they will soon find out, as long as the sporting directors, that it's poison upstairs, and any problem begins at the top. And that for me is, Frank's not given anything to work with, like Ange wasn't, and we just get a few injuries, it all goes to pot. Not replacing Son, huge problem. So this lineup, but focusing on Frank, of course he isn't innocent. I just think we've got to back him right now, but we do lack the width, we do lack the creativity in this game. Xavi Simons is the only recognised 10 and he's not starting. That is a concern, but at the same time his performances hasn't been very good, and Odobert too was awful in the North London derby every time he got the ball. Not the only one. So you can look at it both ways. I'm not feeling confident about this game, but what Frank will like is that it's a free hit. And then Frank will take this very, very seriously. And reminder, we were all concerned with the Super Cup as well about the defensive team. It would so nearly got a result against the best team in the world at the time. So I back Frank. He is a big game manager, and he'll prove that over time. I don't know whether he's right for Tottenham, but I back him for now and his lineup. Whatever we do, there's no need to panic, no need to jump to conclusions. Tonight will be difficult, but I think for him, what's more defining is Fulham than Newcastle, because especially Fulham, because of our home record, that's a game we'll be expected to win.
You got to remember as well, Kate, that PSG are going to come out like a steam train, right? And maybe wants to
their lineup, they've got Beraldo in goal, then they've got Marquinhos, who I think it's his 500th appearance or something, 200, I don't know. It's a big milestone tonight. Zabani, I wrote out to say it, Kvaratskhelia, Fabian, Ramos, Dembele, who they said wasn't going to be playing, is playing, Vitinha, Lee Kang-in, Hernandez and Maulu. Obviously, the big miss there for them is Desiree Doué, who's injured, and Barcola has made it onto the bench. Now, when you compare that to our team, it's, mortifying.
Yeah, but they've got unlimited funds, Kate.
Oh, it says that's the squad, not the lineup. Oh, where's the lineup then? Oh, I hope Dembele isn't playing. Go on, sorry, Jim. I'm looking while I'm.
Unlimited funds, and they've been buying top players for years, so they're going to have an established top team, and they could they can buy who they want. That's how much money they got.
Yeah, look, I do think. Go on, but Dermot.
Look, I agree with Harry on the owner part of it. I really do. I back him 100%. I think we sort of got this narrative of, Levy's gone, let's not keep pressure on the owners. I think we do. I think we always got to keep pressure on the owners. And this, always see what happens in January, or it's that we'll give them a few windows. No, sorry. You keep the pressure on. You keep on. They're the same people that have been in charge for the last 25 years. So you don't chop off a snake's head. It's a bit like, I'm a big Marvel fan. You look at Hydra, you cut off one snake, another two comes in its place, So they're still the same people. Where I slightly disagree with Harry, and I do respect his opinion, but I slightly disagree is, I think we have a right to vent our anger. We have a right to vent our frustrations with Thomas Frank. We have a right to say this is not good enough, because I don't think he's helping himself. And if you look at tonight, like Tottenham's lineup, we could well do, and I hope we do get a result. Look, if we sneak a 1-0 win, PSG could have a stinker tonight, and we could get a 1-0 win, come away with France, still unbeaten in the Champions League. We could get a draw. That'd be fantastic. Still unbeaten in the Champions League, and then we've got a few games coming up. Could we reach the top 8 maybe, or get a playoff place? Brilliant. We're still in the Champions League. But Thomas Frank has to prove he's got the managerial experience to do these. And tonight's not a free hit. Tonight is, we've got to go out and get something tonight. Even if we lose, I want to see these players play with heart, play with determination, and fight for the badge, fight for the shirt. They don't own that shirt. We loan it to them. Tottenham Hotspur belongs to us, the fans. They're playing for us. All we want is, if you were doing a job and you weren't doing your job correctly, you didn't show no fight or heart in your job, you would be sacked. We know we can't sack these players. All we ask for them is show us a bit of passion and a bit of heart. Go out tonight and show us who you're playing for. You're representing us. Represent us better. And Thomas Frank doesn't help himself when you see lineups like this. I really hope he proves everyone wrong. I really do. But this doesn't help his cause.
We could go to the top 4 tonight in the Champions League if we win.
Yeah, we could do, Jim. I want to see passion. I want to see fight.
But we could.
We could. And look, if we get a result tonight, brilliant. But Thomas Frank needs to help himself. And by doing this way, playing 5 at the back, it didn't work the weekend. Let's go back to a 4-2-3-1. We're used to that. Play Sorry, Kate, go on. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, according to Sky Sports, it is a 5-3-2 with Porro, Gray, Romero, Van der Ven and Jed at the back, then Sarr, Bergvall, Bentancur and Richie and Moani up front. So, yes, it looks like it is another 5 at the back, which after the debacle at the weekend is a little bit worrying.
Say we go out and win this game, what people are going to be saying tomorrow was a masterclass.
Yeah, of
so,
course.
Until the game kicks off, it's going, we don't know. So he's picked this team for a reason. So we're Spurs supporters, so let's back the manager and the players.
Yeah, well, we've got no choice. There's nothing else we can do. I just am concerned that the likes of Gray and Bergveld, very young players, and look, let's just wait and see.
I've never seen you speechless, Kate. That's the first time I've ever seen you dumbstruck. Right? To be fair,
it doesn't happen very often. I mean,
no, it doesn't.
X-Mart says, I won't expect to win tonight. PSG will come prepared. They will dominate us with 70% possession. I'm satisfied with a draw or a loss if they put up a fight. On the Super Cup, they had 74% possession. However, we had more shots and they needed the stoppage time equaliser. So percentage possession doesn't really mean anything.
If we'd have had this team we've got now in that Super Cup, we would have won that. Because it was the players that come off the bench that let us down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Spurs have conceded just twice in 4 Champions League matches. PSG have scored 14 goals in their last 4 matches with an average XG of 2.5. Obviously, Harry, a lot's been made about Tottenham's XG of late, 0.0 this and 0.0 that, and we're going up against a team that have got a 2.5 XG. Are you confident that our defence can stop these from scoring or at least keep the score down?
I back my side in every game, but there's reason to be concerned for this. And the XG, for me, is important. I know people don't like to hear it, and it isn't just like, it shouldn't just focus on XG, but it actually, of course, stands for expected goals. It gives you some kind of reflection on how you play in a game. But the reality is, I personally, I don't say don't care because it's harsh, but it's not a concern for me how much of the possession you have. I actually don't care how you play football, because of course you want to see Ange Ball and or how Mauricio Pochettino, someone said earlier, plays football. You want the ball, you want to entertain, you play to entertain, and I get it's all about to dare us to do. But for me, it's football's results-based business, because that's what Thomas Frank's been told. And of course, I want to play beautiful football, but also tell myself that's not what the manager's being told. That's not what any manager, any club's being told. They're based, their job, there would be sackings, appointments, it's all based on results. So I think it's incredibly important that we remember that, but at the same time, you've got to give 110% in every game. And I look at the Arsenal game, and I'm sorry, but the body language and the fight isn't there, because if it is, I mean, again, you don't know how much Frank has set them up like that, but where's this high press? That is, talk about concerns under Thomas Frank. I'm a Frank admirer and a backer, and I really do believe that. However, where's this press gone? At Brentford, his side, it was high press, high intensity attacking. He laid down his principles when he joined the club. We haven't seen not one of those principles. Not been attacking at all. Like Wolves at home, I do believe that we would have taken the point before the game. That's the problem. If you start going to games like that and taking points, or celebrate a point at the end because we've got ourselves in a tricky situation we shouldn't have, that's the problem. But I don't want to be too negative, because tonight, is an opportunity. It's a free hit more than anything, and I don't like to say that, but the reality is PSG are here, we're right here. So, and Frank works best, and always has done in his career, would be over in Denmark or at Brentford, when his team is not expected to get anything. That's where he thrives. It would be going to the Etihad, Anfield, all these stadiums he's been to. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium's been one in the past, unfortunately for us, and he's got a result. So don't write Frank off, don't write Tottenham off, but we need to improve. We can't, be sitting here, because if you shut up shop, Kate, you've got to have a plan to counter-attack. We've got to relieve that pressure, and you've got to look like scoring, because you can have, 11. You can have all these amazing defenders. Like we can have, so many, play with 11 Van de Vens or 11, Romeros. But the reality is, if you concede, you need to have a plan to get back into it. And I'm sorry, but just a Kevin Danso long throw or a, Richarlison screamer isn't enough. So we need to do more going forward. We've got a lot of players out injured. The club didn't replace Son. There's a lot of, goal contributions, even though it wasn't his best last year. So Enoch, the pressure has to be on them. But the reality is, I know I keep saying the same thing, but I am still behind Frank. But tonight is an opportunity, but I don't think it's huge in the hindsight. We want to win this game, but what is huge is the next 2 Premier League games. Because speaking to you now, Kate, in 5 days' time, we'd have played 3 more games. That sounds crazy to say. That's how busy the fixture schedule is. That's when we get a real idea of how the festive period will kind of go. And Frank also, not being funny, his future at Tottenham. Because let's say we lose tonight, which is probably unfortunately expected, and Fulham, could be difficult. Newcastle's tough. If we lose both of them, he's in a little bit of trouble because realistically, we find ourselves 14th or 15th in the league, and the whole conversation starts again. So for now, I'm behind Frank, but we need to do better. We need to lay a glove on an opponent. We need to have a go. We need to represent some kind of to dare us to do. It doesn't have to be attacking football all the time. We've got to have a go at opponents. Arsenal, we were awful. They're definitely the better team, better trajectory, much ahead of us, Kate. Have a go. We've got nothing to lose. This is a game where we should have a go, and I'm very surprised to see the likes of Ben Scott start, and hopefully you can see his older self being more attacking. But we just got to attack. You don't score if you don't attack. It's as simple as that. And Frank knows that because he is an attacking manager. I don't know what's changed.
Harry, Sonny still scored 17 goals in his last season.
I think it's right to let him go, but you've got to replace him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Dom, Son, Madders and Kulu out, which were four of our top scorers. Obviously, Son's gone, and we haven't sort of got anyone that can take those places. But I did write down on my notes because I am quite organised at times, and I do forget everything, so I have to write it down. Spurs, our front three must generate something. Thomas Frank has put an emphasis on defence, which did not work in the end against PSG in the Super Cup, and both Chelsea and Arsenal still won despite a real focus on the defence. Is the style working, and do we want to see something different? And Dermot, one thing I've got to say is this is completely different to what we saw the other day. I mean, how obviously it looks like it's five at the back, which is the same, but he has changed the lineup.
Great Grazer in the centre of left back. I've just seen the formation.
Yeah. So, I mean, Dermot, are we seeing him sort of thinking, right, I'm going to try something completely new or completely different because it didn't work at all at the weekend?
I do you know what, Kate? I don't know. I think this is reaction from Sunday. I think this is a major reaction from Sunday. He's dropped players. He's bringing players in. Is Gray a centre back? No, we know Gray is a defensive midfielder. He's not really a centre back. I just don't get. There's no width. Jim is right. There's no width. There's the strikers look like they're going to be isolated up front. It looks like we're going to try to defend as a team and then attack us with very few. I don't get it. I don't get Frank's idea in this. I really don't. Is he feeling the pressure that he feels he has to do something different? I don't accept a free hit. I think tonight he's got to prove he can manage 2 games a week. At Brentford, he had the luxury of 1 game a week. So his teams were well drilled from Monday to Friday. So when you get to the game at the weekend, the team knew what they were doing. Now, and also with his press conferences, he's been very defensive within his press conferences. Oh, we're going to have 12 great games, but some of them mediocre, and it's going to be some crap game. We shouldn't hear that from a Tottenham Hotspur manager. It should be, we're a big club. We should have big club mentality. He's come in here. This is his chance. And it really makes me wonder why Manchester United and Chelsea didn't take him up when they interviewed him. What did they see? They thought, do you know what? We're going to pass on you. Do you know what I mean? It really does make me think. And look, I love Thomas Frank. I wanted him in before Ange Postecoglou. When we got Ange, because I'm a big Celtic fan, I knew what we're getting with Ange. So I was happy with that. And when Ange went, I thought, okay, Thomas Frank coming in. He's adaptable. He's going to change it during games. He's going to be a breath of fresh air. Yes, we had a sort of good start to the season, but I think the Premier League this year has totally turned on its head. Whoever expected Liverpool to be down in 11th? And I think he's finding out what it is to manage at a big club. I do believe he's under pressure. I do believe he's getting pressure from above. I do believe some of the players are not happy with him. So is there discontent within the dressing room? Is there discontent between the coaches and the players? I don't know. It's unraveling very quickly, and that's what worries me. We've seen this before where players don't play. And I did question some of them I did question on Sunday in the derby, did the players give up on him? Some of them.
Can I just say before Kate speaks about the lights, Kate has put up every single decoration in our house. Our house is like Santa's grotto. If you can see my front room, it's just flashing everywhere, and that's a reflection.
Yeah, it's Mickey van der Ven Bilbao's hand-signed picture from Mickey Hazard. And I've got fairy lights all going around our bedroom because that's where the magic happens. And it's reflected onto Mickey. So
all the
it's
windows, people must look at our house and think, oh my God, I can't see. There's lights everywhere. Put everything up to cheer herself up.
It is like National Lampoons in our house, I'm not going to lie. Look, at the end of the day, this is what he's chosen. He can live by the sword, die by the sword. Would we rather see him stick with the same team that he did against Arsenal and it all go wrong again? Or, Jim, do you respect the fact that he's making these changes? I mean, you've got to be honest and say he is missing a lot of players, the likes of Kulu, Maddison, Dominic Solanke. These are key starters for Spurs.
Well, they're three, for me, they are three of our best players, right? Mad is obviously creating, Kulu as well. Solanke, the hold-up play and bringing other people into play, missing him massively, right? Look, it is what it is, and I respect Frank. You know, he's trying different things. He's just got to the club. He's working with what he's got. Look, I kind of feel sorry for him because our front line is a bit dross. You know, I don't like slagging players down. You know that I don't really slag them down. But our front line is not good. You know, take Kudus out of it, and it's a bad front line. But he cannot do anything because he's had no windows. He's only just got to the club, so you've got to give him time. You know, to have some windows and get some better strikers in. I do kind of feel sorry for him, but I respect him as a manager. I think he's a very, very good manager, and I think that he will take us places. But we as a club and a fan base have got to be more patient. You know, he's been here 3-4 months, right? So we sack him, right? And you bring the next manager in, he's got the same players. You know,
nothing changes.
Nothing changes.
Managers for less.
Nothing changes except the manager. So we
made mistakes at the club with sacking managers. We've got it totally wrong, catastrophically wrong. I think honestly it would be insanity to sack Frank right now because as a club we're in the situation we're in where we didn't build after that Champions League final. That was on the club and that is poison upstairs. To sack Mauricio Pochettino was single-handedly the worst thing this club has ever and will ever do because we had an opportunity to rebuild after that, to go again. He called for the rebuild and the club realised 2 or 3 years later that we needed that rebuild and they got on with the job under different managers. They brought in Mourinho, made that mistake. They made the same mistake again with Conte, who spoke a lot of facts, was in the job, but he also left the club the worst place when he found it. So that's the reality. Sacking Frank right now, and listen, I get it. We all have valid criticism, concerns as well. I do myself, but the reality is sacking him now changes absolutely nothing. We go backwards more than it changes absolutely nothing. Because I'd say to those Spurs fans that want him out, right, why? And who are you going to bring in? Who are you going to bring in? And why would they want to come to Tottenham? We've got to wake up.
With the front line, what is going to change is still going to be a dross front line. You know, when you've got to give this guy time to
start looking upstairs. Who signed these players? They appoint these managers.
The problem is we could all look. We all want Frank to do well. We all want Frank to succeed. At the end of the day, we may be frustrated with him, but at the end of the day, we all want him to do well. Yeah. We all know owners will listen to fans at stadiums. When they start turning their attention to them, they're going to want to deflect big time. And how do they deflect? By sacking managers. Let's bring another manager in. I totally agree. This sacking manager has to stop. It hasn't worked. Look, the fans wanted Poch out. The fans, you know, the owners sacked Poch for Mourinho. Then they wanted Mourinho out because the football was boring. Then they brought in Nuno. Nuno wasn't very good, so we sacked him.
The club should have some balls then, shouldn't they, to make a decision for themselves and not follow the kind of sheep.
You know what this ownership's going to be like. They're going to deflect. The problem is they will deflect any chance they can get. And
but that's the
problem.
That's what we've always done in the past when Levy's been at the helm, because they've started seeing Levy out. Levy's pulled the trigger, but Levy's not there anymore. And I just think that I think we've been wrong and naive to sack him now. And I hear people saying that it's a waste of time. It's going to be a waste of a season, but I just don't see what we would achieve by sacking him now. And who the frig are we going to bring in? You know, we're going to be in exactly the same position. Go on, Harry.
you know what it is? And I'm not going to like it. It never goes down well every time, but maybe I should learn my lesson. But I knew this would happen after winning a trophy. You just know me. I knew this would happen after winning a trophy. And unfortunately, it's one thing only. It's entitlement. It's an expectation for Frank to come in and hit the ground running. And we actually done okay, so he got away with it. Just because Nuno, it didn't work for him and there are some similarities, doesn't mean Frank should be anywhere compared or based on that. What gives us the right to come in and have a manager have 12 only Premier League games in charge and make a decision over his future? What's happened to this thing where you give managers a season or two? I'm someone from the younger generation. I think it's totally wrong how some things in our game, the direction it's going in, and one of them is not giving managers time. There are a lot of problems, by the way, in the game. This is just one of them. And managers, Frank has to be held to account. He earns his fair share. He got it wrong against Arsenal, but those players on the pitch are spineless because, they're not giving it 110%. It's as simple as that. And I promise you, give any manager in the Premier League that attack and you really, really struggle. You really struggle. That attack isn't good enough. It's why we fall foul of top 6 teams. So I think, people love something to moan about, right? And they can't moan at Daniel Levy anymore. So they deflect it onto Thomas Frank. Stop. We need to stop. As someone said in the comments, it's true. Stop glazing these players because reality is they're not top 6 level, I'm afraid. Give Frank time. I don't know why you judge someone of 12 games. It's barbaric. It's insane. It's ludicrous. It's entitlement.
Do you know what, Harry? Do you know what, Harry? I think you're right. And look, I'm from a generation where you give managers time. Look, Keith Berkershaw got us relegated. Gave him time. He won us 2 FA Cups and UEFA Cup. We gave Terry Venables time. Won us an FA Cup. And ever since this ownership has come in, it's been one manager after another. It's been a conveyor belt. And I think we've lost our identity, who we are, who we're meant to be. We're damn well Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
Managers that hit the ground running. I mean,
yeah.
Slot, look, he hit the ground running. Look at him now this season. So,
yeah, I think football is so different to what it used to be. And I think it's because there's so much money within the game. It's now clubs are thinking, Jesus, if we don't reach a certain level, we're not going to get the money in to for next season. It's all about Champions League. It's all about money oriented, and the football should be about passion, glory, and the game. Nothing else. It should be all about that. And it's crazy how football has developed, how it's evolved. And look, call me a dinosaur for my time of supporting Tottenham, 40 odd years. I give me yesteryear how the game was then. You give managers time and you get behind the manager, you get behind the team, and you watch the team succeed.
Yeah, social media that does it. It's because
exactly. And social media as well, Jim.
Everybody's got a voice.
Do you know what the thing is as well? As much as I don't like to compare us to Arsenal, Arteta come in, didn't do great, finished 8th. Then, he's had his ups and downs. The fan base.
We wouldn't give him time. We wouldn't give him time.
The fans wanted him out. The board ignored the fans and they were singing loud for this manager to go. And now they're reaping the rewards. And I think the one thing Tottenham, Arsenal,
we ain't won fuck all yet.
Yeah, so but they're still top of the league, Jim, and they're one of the best. You can't say that. They're one of the best teams in Europe.
Yeah, but we won a European trophy last season. They won fuck all, and they ain't won fuck all this season yet, have they?
Yeah, but if they'd have been in the Europa League, they probably would have won it. But can you let me finish? Because now I forgot what I was going to say.
They was in the Champions League, right? where they believed they belong, right? But they didn't win it.
Look. You've made me completely forget. But yes, Bill Nick took 2 years. What I'm trying to say is I think the one thing Tottenham has lacked of late is stability. Pochettino we had for a while. We had Ange for 2 years. And now we've, bringing in a manager and sacking him after a few months is craziness. To not give him chance to get the team that he wants is craziness. I don't think the board will be quick to sack this guy. I really don't. I think now Levy's gone, you're going to see it. Everything pan out slightly different. I'm completely with Chris Peters here. I'd give him the January window, summer window, and he needs to be seriously back from the board. And that is quality, not quantity. We want to see good, top quality players come in. And for the moment, we might not like it. We might not like seeing this team selection, but he can only put out what he's got. And look, I think everyone just needs to be a bit more patient and stop screaming this guy out. It's madness.
Someone just put in the chat, right? Someone just put in the chat, which is hilarious for me, that Arsenal beat Real Madrid. Yeah, did they win a trophy for beating Real Madrid?
Yeah, and they finished second. What was it, 3 times?
We beat Man City when they were Premier League champions and won the Champions League. We didn't get nothing for it. You don't get nothing for beating a team. You get something for the consistency over a season.
Yeah.
What's happened is upstairs in the club, all of a sudden, because we've had Bilbao, where we got the job done, and in the end, at times it felt unexpected. That all of a sudden they've jumped on this bandwagon. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll give Frank the time. I think they will right now, but not if this continues for another month, because they now think, oh, this is what we want all the time. We're just going to say these things, but we're not going to give you any resources to do so. It's just so frustrating. I mean, I'm 16 years old, but if we divert away from Tottenham, I hate how the direction the game's going. If you touch someone, you're yellow carded. With that Everton case, how's that a red card? I get called old and that all the time because I am only 16, but just my mentality is different. I love the players fighting each other. I think he should have gone even further. I love that disagreement. It's what you're meant to do. The game's gone totally wrong. This is a good example. There's entitlement everywhere. There's misinformation spread everywhere. Players now literally, instead of them getting abused online, something's sent from through the door. You get abused constantly. It's everywhere, and the game's gone the wrong direction. But to go back to Spurs, the club just completely jumped on the bandwagon. There's all good saying we wouldn't like Levy. I know it's his words, but the club will still use the same. We want in the Premier League and Champions League. How are you going to do that? What are you going to do? What are you going to change? Because right now, 100 million cash injection, great. But that's nothing in this modern era. It should be, money's gone way too far. But the reality is it's one good player and we won't spend it right. So now we need to stop talking. Arsenal years ahead of us. And that's the reality. Any manager, any team we put out against Arsenal would have lost the game. It's the lack of fight that does concern me. And if any players are considering not playing for Frank, then they should hang their heads in shame because they've got a contract, they've got a job to do. And they're a big part of the problem. Not being funny. Conte's called them out. A load of managers have called them out. The players need to do more on the pitch. We've got players injured, you need to put your shift in. And a lot of players don't. They up here, and down. They need to do a lot better. So of course, fans are frustrated, but be patient. 12 Premier League games is not enough to judge. Look, Sir Alex Ferguson is a great example to be used. I'm not even going to compare Frank to that, but that's an example of how you should give managers time. It's just ridiculous how the game's going, and it's incredibly frustrating.
It's a different era, though, Harry. Totally different era, and the problem.
But how do you know? How do you know if you have someone like Sir Alex Ferguson? Then, players as well. How do you know you have Harry Kane? You don't get an opportunity.
Can I just finish what I can say? You didn't let me finish my comments. So, a different time period, but the problem is now, you won't get the time because of how football is, because of how money orientated the game is, how much owners should look. We want to make money back, and also it's cheaper to get rid of a manager than it is to get rid of players. It works out cheaper in the long run. I do agree with everything you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm trying to looking at it from a different point of view. And maybe that's my autism with me. Maybe that's why I look at things a bit more differently to other people. But I get the Alex Ferguson conspiracy. It took him 5 years to win his first trophy. You're not going to get that time in this day and age of football. You need owners to back a manager. We didn't bank Frank in the summer. How does he expect? Sorry, Jim.
You got to look right. If you bring Madders back, you bring Solanke back, and you bring Kulu back, right? You're looking at a different team already. Buy a couple of top players in January. Buy a couple of top players in the summer window. You're looking at a completely different Tottenham team, right? But what we need to do is we need to be. Someone put it in the chat a minute ago. They're 100% right. The recruitment in this club needs to be better, right, for us to move forward. The recruitment is spending. Look, I'm not digging these players out, but spending 50 million on Johnson, right, for me is a mistake when you can spend another 30 or 40 million, right, and get a real top player in, right. Spending 30 or 35 million on Tell. Stick another 30, 40 million on there, and it's easy to say it ain't our money, but you're talking different type of players, Kate. It's we've spent good money, but not on fantastic players, and that's why we are where we are. Right? They need to upgrade. They need to upgrade on the players that they're buying.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Daniel. Sorry, we're running short on time. I just wanted to address Daniel said about wasting the season and said, I'm sick of legendary managers getting compared to a loser. Don't ever mention Birkinshaw and Bill Nick in the same comment as this loser. Unless you're psychic and have got a crystal ball, you can't tell anyone he's a loser yet. This guy's been given no time at all. And I think this attitude from Spurs fans is one of the cancers that is infesting this club, this entitlement that we got to a Champions League final, probably the worst thing that could have ever happened to Spurs. Because Spurs fans suddenly think we're up here and we're not. And we've got to build our way back up. And I think stability is one of the ways we're going to do that. So I just had to put my 6 pence.
Everyone was calling Ange a loser. He won us a European trophy.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think, looking back, right, I don't think he was the right guy for our team, for our club. But he still won us a trophy.
Yeah.
Now, this guy, to call him a loser, Daniel, right?
So disrespectful.
It is, because he's only had 12 games in the league. You know, he's been knocked out of one cup, and we're doing well in the Champions League. I mean, it's so unfair to call him a loser. You know, in a year's time, if we haven't upgraded players and done any better, then it's different. But he's only just walked into the club, Daniel. You got to give the guy some time. Oh my God.
I'm frustrated. That's my problem. I'm so frustrated. I was frustrated with Sunday. I was frustrated with Chelsea. I really want him to prove me wrong. I want him to do well. I want him to win at something. I want him to really prove everyone wrong. I backed Ange all the way to the end last year, and the amount of abuse I got for supporting Ange Postecoglou. He's the third man in our history to win this European trophy, behind Bill Nick and Keith Birkinshaw. I think we're right to compare managers. I don't think it's right to call Thomas Frank a loser. We don't know.
It's very hard to compare Frank to anyone, though, Dermot, because he hasn't been here long enough to compare him to anyone.
And he's never managed a top team, to be fair to him.
Yeah, it's down again. It boils down to the club backing the manager with the players he wants for his formation, his philosophy. Let's do that.
Big up to Mick Quan McKinley, who says this is a microwave generation that wants results now and can't wait for something great to happen later. Shameful. Agreed. And thank you for the super chat.
European champions.
But it is that time, because we've waffled on, and look, it's come to the end of the show, but we need to get score predictions and goal scorers. I'm dreading asking, to be fair, with all the comments we're getting. We've got a 4-0 to PSG come through from Mazza. Lee said 5-0 to PSG. And then we've got a 6-0 to PSG from Summer. Chris has said 5-0. Scott has said 5-0. Oh, this is not good. Harry, I'll come to you first. What do you fancy for the game tonight?
Thomas Frank works best when he's not expected to get a result. I said that earlier. I mean it. For me, we come up with a surprise tonight. It's just how big of a surprise that is. It's going to be really, really tough. I'd love to sit here, Kate, and go, we win the game. I just don't think that's realistic. But I think we do somehow get a draw and go 1-1. And I'd absolutely take that. And I do stand by there is a free hit, because we're not expected to get anything from the game. But I think Frank is the same in the Super Cup. It was a free hit. So I'm feeling okay about tonight, having said all my rants and all my negative things. But I just think it's really important that we give a manager time. We're all entitled to opinions, but this is my generation that is causing a little bit of a problem with a little bit of impatience and unnecessary entitlement. I saw the first trophy of my lifetime last year, but now I feel like Spurs fans are ashamed to talk about winning the European trophy. I'm not ashamed of that. I never will be, and I remember that. So, it's time to maybe wake up a little bit, start supporting the team, because a lot of fans go to the stadium and they shout abuse at players. I'm a season ticket holder. I have people behind me that shout at Johnson, call him disgusting names, Richarlison, every game. I'm thinking, mate, I probably want them out of the club, but that's not how you go about it. And, stop this entitlement, get your head out your ass and support the team and not the Spurs.
Exactly. I love it, Harry. I completely agree. Dermatron, what are we going for tonight?
Do you know what? I'm going to buck the trend. Sorry, Harry. I'm going for a 1-0 Spurs win. I think we're going to nick it.
What did you say, Dermot?
Pardon?
What did you say on the Irish Hotspur?
I said my heart says a 2-1 win, and I said my head a 2-1 PSG win. I'm listening to my heart. I'm not listening to my head. My head can go and do one. I'm going to follow my heart, and my heart's going. I'm going for a 1-0 Spurs win. I think we're going to nick it. Look, I want him to prove me wrong. I want him to prove me that Sunday was a one-off. We come out. I want to see fight. I want to see passion. I want to see determination. And the Spurs win, if we do get one, because I don't think we will, but sorry, I think we might, then that'd be great. But that is the first step for him, proving to me he's the man for the job. I want him to prove me wrong. That's all I ever ask. Back him in January and then prove me wrong. But I agree with Harry, everything he says. And big up to you, Harry, as well. And thanks for having me on again, Kate. Really enjoyed it.
You're welcome. Jimbo, what are you going for?
3-1 the mighty Spurs. We kicked their fucking ass.
Look.
Go on, Kate. Go on. Go through
You're
me.
going to predict us to lose, weren't you, before?
I went with my heart against Arsenal and predicted a draw. And tonight I'm going with my head and I'm going 3-1 PSG. Shoot me now. I feel dirty saying it.
If I had control, you'd be kicked off this panel.
But I do just think, for me, I backed PSG all of last season. I got laughed at on the terrace and told I was smoking stuff because I said that I fancied them for the Champions League. They did me proud. As much as I'm not a fan particularly, I do enjoy watching them play, and I just think they're going to be a step too far for Tottenham tonight. But it is what it is, and I hope I'm wrong. Dermot, thank you as always for coming on. What's going on over at THFC till we die?
Yeah, if you like what I have to say, yeah, we've got watch-alongs, post-match, pre-match. I got a debate on Thomas Frank on Friday with a man that was really Ange out, and he's now Frank in. I'm going to have a debate with him. And then we've got, of course, the watch-along or the build-up to the Fulham game. But thank you for having me on here again. It's an absolute honour and a privilege sharing the screen with you three. And, yeah, one thing about Tottenham, that it brings out the passion in us, doesn't it? It brings out the passion. And if the players can play what we've got on this stream, I don't think we'd be a bad club. But do get over. If you agree or disagree, football's about opinions, and that's what it should be. Always be respectful opinions. Come on,
exactly.
These Spurs.
And Dermot, I think you're on the pump up with me at the weekend as well against Fulham.
Yay!
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 Young content creator of the year, Harry. What's going on over at the award-winning Harry Scarf 2022?
Sounds so strange. You wouldn't have it any other way, though. No, thank you so much. It's been great tonight, and apologies to fellow panel members and members of the chat if I come across too strong. But if you can't tell already, it's, as long with everyone, I'm literally Tottenham matters. I try to, but I just do things differently. I hate this clickbait of my generation, other YouTubers and content creation. They say things that give them clicks. I don't care if it's unpopular or not. I just say how I see it. Doesn't mean I'm right. I love to be proven wrong, by the way. I'd nothing more than me to be wrong and these owners and you look forward to prove me completely wrong. But thank you. The comments have been lovely. So I really do appreciate it. You can follow me at HarryScarf22 across all socials. Autism advocate, football content creator, YouTuber, and football writer. The title's getting longer, by the way. But no, that's all the stuff I do so far. But also, my YouTube channel is Harry Scarf, and expanding the content, all different forms, long, medium, and short. Tottenham content, FPL content, Premier League content, England content. So, amazing stuff. And big up to the chat. They are great. There's some fools in there, let's just say, but they're there everywhere. I get them. I have them behind me in the stadium, and they're not going to stop me saying what I believe and supporting the teams. I just think as fans, our job is to support the team, and not enough of that is done. A lot of moaning, a lot of whinging. Get behind the team. Let's do our job, and Frank and the players, I'm sure, will do theirs.
Exactly, Harry. Thank you as always for coming on. Jimbo and I can be found here if you want to come over. What I will say is, I think for the most part, the chat's been very respectful tonight. And as Dermot and Harry both said, football's all about opinions. We don't have to agree, but the thing we have to do is get behind the team. And I just think maybe sometimes time can be, well, I was going to say great healer, but, sometimes patience is a virtue. Let's put it that way. And two things we want to happen tonight. We want PSG to lose to Tottenham, and we want Bayern Munich to smash the shit out of the filth up the road. Come on, Harry Kane.
Yes. Okay, I want to wish Bayern Munich the best of luck tonight, and Harry Kane, best striker in the world, is going to be
hat-trick for Kane tonight. Hat-trick for Kane, Jim. There you go.
Yes, please. But do make sure you all go over, sub to Harry, sub to Dermot, and if you wish to, sub to us. We will see you again on Saturday for the pump-up show against Fulham. Enjoy the game, guys, and as always, come on, you Spurs.
Spurs.